What's up guys, it's Irish here with episode 2 of my player mode on NBA 2K12, and I'm not going to commentate over this. I'm just going to explain to you briefly what this is, and then you can listen to it, because it's more of something you have to listen to. I don't really need to explain it that much, and if I commentated over it I wouldn't really talk that much anyway. What's going to happen here is I'm going to have 3 pre-draft interviews, one with the Phoenix Suns, the second one is with the Utah Jazz, and the third and final one is with the Houston Rockets. And they are 3 teams in the NBA who are interested in, in drafting me when the NBA draft comes around, which you'll see later on in this video. And depending on what my answers are, it will also sway as to whether they will want to draft me or not. And the draft comes later, and I skip the first few picks of the draft and it goes right to mine. So I hope you enjoyed this, guys. I'm very happy with the team I ended up on, as you'll see in a bit. Enjoy the pre-draft interviews. These are awesome. You'll see. Wait till you see how in depth this game goes. It's actually incredible. This has been Irish, guys, on episode 2 of my player mode on NBA 2K12. Stay tuned for episode 3 for my first game ever in the NBA. Peace.
Nice job out there tonight. Your play really impressed us, so much so that we're considering using our pick on you if you're available when our turn comes up. Before we get that far, we'd really like to ask you a couple of questions. Question number 1. As a point guard, we really feel like we can offer you something amazing, something no other team in the NBA can offer. With Steve Nash's career winding down, you have the chance to play behind and learn from one of the greatest point guards to ever put on a uniform. Once Steve decides to hang it up and you've learned everything you can from him, the starting point guard spot is yours. How can you say no to that?
Well, that's definitely an interesting proposition. I was more hoping to start right out of the gate because I know I'm good enough, but the chance to back up Steve Nash and learn from him, that might be too much to pass up. You know what? For the best interest of my career, I would definitely be open to that.
Okay, last question. As a whole, the Suns have kept the same core for the better part of a decade. We found a winning formula and stuck by it, just rotating in supporting pieces where necessary. As I'm sure you've seen over the last year or so, we're in the midst of overhauling our roster. We really love the idea of you being a part of that process. What do you think about being a centerpiece for the new Phoenix Suns?
Man, I love the idea that you consider me a centerpiece. That type of confidence in me, how can I not love the idea? I'm interested in making a name for myself in the NBA, and Phoenix sounds like a great fit to me.
Okay, I think I've heard all I needed to hear for now. You're definitely someone we can use on our team. Now we just need you to be available when it's our turn to pick. Hello, and nice to meet you. I'm the Director of Player Personnel for the Utah Jazz. My scouts have expressed a lot of interest in you. Before I can give my blessing to use our draft pick on you, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions, to make sure you'd fit in with what we do here. I really think the first piece to getting this franchise back on track is to find and develop our point guard of the future. The point is the one position that can really make or break a team and change the overall direction of the franchise. Looking back at the Hornets, look at what Chris Paul did for that team. We want a point guard who will do the same for us, and we think you might be that guy. Convince us of that.
Yeah, honestly, I think this team's just too raw. I feel like if I came to Salt Lake City, it would be the me show. I need to have some experienced vets around to help me grow and to help me win. I just don't see that happening here in Utah. Sorry.
All right then, one more. We realize that here in Utah, we don't have the appeal of a Los Angeles or New York or Chicago. We tend to look for players who would be proud to be part of this organization. Someone who can really take pride in being a member of the Utah Jazz. Someone who's willing to spend their entire career as a member of the Utah Jazz. Are you that person?
To be honest, I'm a big city kind of guy. I don't think Salt Lake City has the type of vibe I'm looking for. You know what I mean? I'm sure you guys have a great organization and a great fan base. It's just not for me. That cool?
Thanks for answering our questions. I don't know that we're a fit for you at this time. We'll need to discuss internally. I'll be in touch.
Greetings. I'm the GM and Director of Player Personnel for the Rockets. In addition to the 14th pick, we also have the 23rd pick in the upcoming draft, and are looking at you with one of those picks. We'd like to get to know you better by asking you a couple of questions. Let's get to it. As a younger team, I feel like we have a lot of opportunities for you. I'm here to tell you you have a chance to be our franchise centerpiece if you put in the work. How many other teams can offer you that? That being said, we still have a couple years ahead of us where we're going to be acquiring young talent and assets. We might struggle a bit in those years. Are you going to be able to remain focused during the rebuilding years?
I've never really lost in my entire life. I've always been good enough to propel every team I've ever been on to success. I realize the NBA will be different in that regard, at least at the start of my career. This will really test my patience, but as a man, I'm up for the challenge. I know I would have my man Kevin Martin there to help carry the load.
Let's see. One more question, if you don't mind. What do you think you'll bring to a franchise as far as marketability?
Honestly, I tend to shy away from the attention. I'm not a fan of the glitz and glamour or the parties or the magazine interviews or the television specials or any of that stuff. If you need a guy who's going to get out in the community and make a name for the team, I really don't think that's me. I'm strictly focused on my game and the team, you know?
Okay, I think we were able to get a good read into what you're all about. We'll be in touch.
Good evening and welcome to the 2011 NBA Draft. Tonight marks the realization of a dream for the best young players in the world, a reward for their many years of dedication and hard work. It's also a time of extraordinary hope and excitement for our fans and our teams. For those of you watching on television in more than 200 countries and territories, and of course to all of our wonderful fans right here, thank you for joining us. I know the young men hoping to hear their names called tonight can't wait to compete against the best basketball players in the world. So let's get started. With the first pick in the 2011 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Doug Martin from the University of Michigan. With the second pick in the 2011 NBA Draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Cliff Davis from The Ohio State University. With the 13th pick in the 2011 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select the 21-year-old point guard from Massachusetts,
shift right back. Before I picked up the mic and started writing rhymes, I could alter my form at any given time. Shape, shift, shape, shift, shape, shape, shift, shift, shape, shift, shape, shift, shape, shift. When I first started shape-shifting, after class school, really wanted me kicked in. There was little D running for his life with his heart beat.